What's up, guys? It's me, Doc, from SampleKings.com. I want to thank a lot of you people for actually watching our videos and helping us to grow the channel. But currently, we are realizing that we need to have more members, as YouTube tells us. In order to do this, I want to implore you to take the time to hit the subscribe button. So please, subscribe. It does help. Yo, what's up, guys? It's me, Doc, SampleKings.com. So I've been looking forward. It's coming out on March the 24th this year. And I'm sort of into this device, not because it's small and unique, because they keep mentioning the 3000 and the MPC60. Now, my very first MPC, or actually first Akai before then, was the S612. That was a pretty cheesy sampler. It was okay, it wasn't really the ish, but it worked for sessions. And around that time, DJs would do all this cutting with records, and then we'd record it, and a rapper would rap on that, right? And we did stuff also for club music like that the same way. So sometime after that, the S900 came out, and that was a badass machine. And of course, we had the SP12. So with those two machines, we were able to actually do anything. A rapper didn't need a DJ anymore. And then there was all of a sudden this birth of so many rappers and R&B guys trying to do certain things. The R&B dude and the rapper. Or the club dude trying to do club with certain chops. And then the world exploded. You see, back before then, you had to have a drummer. A guy played a drum and kept time. Yeah, okay, we got to bring somebody in. And those guys are really good. But the really good guys cost money because they became top quality studio musicians who would do all the commercials and all the kind of stuff for music scores or whatever it was that companies did music for. But when the MPC60 came out, that was a total change. You see, prior to that time, no one had mastered MIDI production. And what Roger Lynn did was he had it, and so did Akai, gotta give Akai credit. They came up with the idea to have in a MIDI production, a center in your studio. I could plug this rolling keyboard, this chord keyboard, that Sony keyboard, plug them into the device, and then we had MIDI working. MIDI was working throughout everything. I'd sync it in. I could chop samples up. I'd put it on that. You could have a guy in a rock band, and he just plays guitar. We can get drum samples, keyboards, bring a guitar player in, we could sample some guitars or whatever, and we can make up a band, make up a sound without having actual musicians in there, or have samples of the musicians, but they couldn't make the session. This changed everything about making music. And so the MPC60 isn't just what you might think it is, it was raw. See, today's samples are so pristine and clear, they're beautiful. They have this great sound to them. But back then, if you were 12-bit, you were just slapping motherfuckers in the face. Can I say that? You were slapping people in the face, just pounding to death. It was like awesome. The bass drum was like boom bap. It was like spoof bap. It was like amazing. And you put some compressors on it and some EQs. You know, you're doing your thing. And this is why I want to see this device. I'm hoping they went back old school and made it so it sounds a little funky and cool, and a little grimy would be nice. I mean, today everything's nice and clean, yeah, I like that, but you know, I really don't. I like the warm sound. I like how it sounds when you hear a drum and bugle corps and you're live, and you hear that guy hitting the bass drum and those snare drums. That's raw bottom and raw top hat and the horns blasting at you. I just love how that sounds. I don't get it in the recording studio, of course, but on an SP1200 and S950 and an MPC60 as a master mini production center, oh my God. Fun, fun, fun. You have no idea. And I hope they bring this back because this is a great thing. So anyway, this is the machine, and I think it's pretty cheap and easy. I like what they did to it so far. Like, I haven't done much, I haven't seen much, but it's pretty simple. We got headphones, we got sync out, MIDI in and out, very simple, not even a 6-pin. Keep that out. We also have right here what we got here. We have audio left and right, 1 and 2, pretty simple. Audio in, left and right, 1 and 2, pretty simple. These are pretty much just quarter-inch cables. Record gain, USB. My thing is about the USB. It's not just going to be power, probably USB MIDI and something else, probably. I guess something to go along with. So I went back to AI, and AI was telling me some stuff right here. And they came with these actual text spots for it. And so here we have a processor. That's a next generation standalone MPC engine. Ooh. Next generation. I don't know what that means. That can't be it. This is an old school thing. Because next generation, I hope it's old school sounding. 8 gigabytes of RAM. RAM's pretty cheap these days compared to the old days. And we have internal storage of 8 gigabytes. So it's 2 gigabytes of RAM, 8 gigabytes of storage, expandable via SD card, which should be on this side right here. There's your SD card slot right there. Cool. And next what we got here, a 2.4 inch full color high resolution screen. Now, can that USB-C cable plug into it? Nah, I'm thinking too far, right? Take that USB-C cable and let's take that output of that screen and put it on a bigger screen. Nope, not gonna happen probably. I can dream though. Of course, a 5-hour battery. So it's gonna be lithium ion, typical, and you can recharge it. So I gather the USB-C cable will probably help recharge that also. So those are hopes my USB-C cable. And we have the I/O stereo input output. Of course, we have MIDI I/O as well. And we also have sync out. Sync out. Probably MIDI sync, right? And we also have USB-C, it says there. So I'm thinking USB-C is going to do probably the sync out, do some MIDI with USB-C, and they're probably going to be able to at least charge the bad boy. And from that point, I want to see it go to a monitor, a 24-inch monitor. That's going to happen. But it sounds cool. So these are the specs that come up with over here. We got audio tools, internal microphone, built-in speaker, and we have a real-time stretching, I guess, some sort of logarithm going here for real-time stretching. We're going to see how that works out, because real-time stretching would be nice. I would prefer also to have warping as well. So I don't know what's going to happen with the warping. So warping and time stretching are two different things. Your machine will warp the sound, which means I have a machine that will warp my sample. Maybe a beat that goes 100 BPM. And then if it warps it, I'll be able to do 100 BPM or 90 or 80, no matter what. Now the sample will change the actual speed, but remain the same. That's a constant sound, right? Time stretching is I'll take that sound and then I'll make sure it's going to be the specific time I want it to be at. I'm not going to change from. And so time stretching is much more stronger and a much more powerful sound than it is having a sound that warps. So I like to see that. But for this price of, I guess, $399, it could be worth it. Akai's been doing this for years, and they're known around the world. Check the machine out. Leave your comments below. I'm going to talk about this thing too myself, and let's see what happens. But I'm looking for it to be like a classic, old school, boom bappy sound, which is the only thing you can't get now, unless you take your money and you go out and get an MPC60 or an MPC3000 and do that. So I'm DocSampleKings.com. I also do lessons on all the top softwares, you know, and all the MPCs, any MPC, any machine device, Roland device, Yamaha, you know, you've seen the advertisement. I'll see you in a few when the next video come out soon, and I hope we see this device real soon.